Good evening, viewers. And today we talked about why Iran is not nailing down to the USA, or why Iran hates USA and Western dominance. Because it's the day of Iran and Israel war, but Iran is not going to kneel down. Iran continuously fighting on Tel Aviv and Haifa port and several other prominent cities of Israel. So what is the major economic boost, or what is the a particular thing that Iran possesses so that he didn't nail it down, and what Iran wants to show to the world, that there will be a nation which suffered from decades of sanctions but still survives, and not survives but thrives. So let's look deeper dive into why Iran is still standing, and what is the motto of this so much struggle with the main powers, with the elite powers of the world. So let's look dive into this. I'm taking here seven key reasons of why Iran didn't um, kneel down to the USA or to the Western dominance. So let's look dive into it. So first one is independent foreign policy. Since 1979, Iran has charted its own path. That it means it has never aligned with any NATO, or taken weapons from Western countries or from America, and it didn't even neither take any loans from IMF, because it is largely IMF, International Monetary Fund, with which the Pakistan is the regular customer of IMF. So IMF, Iran didn't take any loan from IMF, and no any submission to the Western dominance, and specifically to the US. Second, Iran did was to threat to petrodollar. Iran, what Iran led to survival and thriving from decades of sanction is one of these, its petroleum, its energy resources, as China takes 90% of the Iranian oils, but Iran sells it not in dollar, in other currencies. Because if you look at in 1953 in Iran, there is a Mahmoud Dawaisi, Mahmoud Mohaddesi, something his name perhaps. That person was overthrown by Western power because he refused to take Britain to sell the oil of Iran, and said that we will develop it, and we will, what I say, we will extract the oil and sell it to the international market. But at that time, Britain was somewhat a great power, so Britain overthrown that democratic government and made us what I say, a monarchy government in the Iran. There is someone named Shah at the last, who were made at that time of the king of Iran. But after exploitation of resources of the Iranian people believe that they are our resources, and why any Western countries will exploit it and make themselves richer, while the most of the Iranians are suffering from poverty, deep poverty, unemployment is high, inflation. These are the things that in almost every country led to revolution. These are the basic foundations of any country that led to revolution. Because if a person has not no any bread, neither any security of life security, then he will totally revolt. Because it is said of proverb, or perhaps any saying, is that there is no difference between a hungry dog and a hungry man. So that led to revolt. And then after when that Shah was removed, because that Shah was that monarchy government was put into Iran, or what I say, imposed on Iran by the Western power. So people overthrown it, and in 1979, the predecessors of Ayatollah, today's President Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the guru of today's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, became the head of the supreme leader of the Iran. And from there on, Iran resisted Western dominance, in Western influence in Iran. Iran always cares of its culture, and it is said and it is proved that Iran is one of the, like India, a civilizational state who has a rich history of it. And India and Iran shared a long centuries of bonds tying to each other. So That's what a short brief of history that I've told you today. And third one is ideological challenge. Uh, in the context of Iran and on the side of Iran, if I said, on one hand, Iran embraces rich culture. Iran promotes tradition, family, and spirituality, and Iran firmly believes on the Islamic laws, which is written in Quran and other religious books of Islam. And so you must have heard of one of the big protests that were held in Iran about hijab in 2022 or in 2021, perhaps, if I'm right. A 22-year-old woman was killed because she refused to wear hijab. Her name is undoubtedly a renowned name in Iran and in the world, Mahsa Amini. There is a long protest, long processing, and a struggle between the current Iranian government and those common people of the Iran. But there is no any change of there is no any change or there is no any change of regime in Iran till now yet. Netanyahu said that it will change regime in Iran, but there is a very less chance of it, as you can see from that. And fourth one is role model for global south. Iran want to become a role model for global south. As we can see in the Middle East, Israel is the only country which have nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapon means atomic bomb, and as you can see from the recent Operation Sindoor of India, there is a deterrence of between India and Pakistan because they both are nuclear-backed countries. So there may be a nuclear deterrence between both of countries. So Iran wants to make a nuclear bomb. It is said by CIA or Mossad of Israel. It is said that Iran is developing its own nuclear project and enriching uranium. And by the sources of Mossad, it is said that Iran has enriched 60% of uranium. But when the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency's employees went to the nuclear facilities of Iran, they didn't see that there is any enrichment of at a great extent, so that there will be any atomic bomb will be made. But why Israel attacked now Iran is because Israel once made Israel when the ties between Israel and the USA is so old. There is perhaps more than 70 years of these ties, and Israel needs USA and USA needs Israel. Both are interdependent of each other. So in the 1979, at the time, Israel too was building its own nuclear weapon, but USA was against it. And at the time of 1971 or perhaps back then, President John F. The USA President John F. Kennedy was fervently against of it. And but Israel was working on the nuclear bomb, and it is said that this is one of the reasons, or perhaps this is the sole reason why John F. Kennedy was killed. He was assassinated by the Mossad. There is a conspiracy theory, maybe called it is, but it is said that there may be this is maybe one of the reasons why John F. Kennedy was killed, because he knew that Israel is building its own nuclear bomb. So when if Israel now all the world knows Israel is now a nuclear bomb countries. It has nuclear more than 15 nuclear heads. It has. So Iran, the famous global geopolitical expert, said that Iran wants it. Iran wanted that if it will develop its own nuclear bomb, then there will be a deterrence between Israel and Iran by the world, not by the USA is involved as usual, but there will be a deterrence from the world. There will be a taboo. So it is said, but Iran from more than a decade is refusing the imposition of Israel's, and Benjamin Netanyahu claims that they are building nuclear arms. In 2012, what is his name, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said Iran is about to make a nuclear bomb in within perhaps a month. He said, but it's been 13 years. There is no any news of. But Israel fervently claims that Iran is making its nuclear bomb, because as at the time of when Israel was making nuclear bombs, when the IAEA officers, International Atomic Energy Agency, who take care of whether if there is country is building secretly any nuclear bomb or not, who sees it, it is a UN counterpart. It is a UN subsidiary, if I would say. So when the IAEA officers went there at the nuclear facility of Israel by the saying of USA at that time in the 1970s, then they didn't see, or they didn't identify, or they claim, or they make a decision that Israel is not making a nuclear bomb, but indeed they are. They are they had been making a nuclear bomb. So Israel thinks, if I will, by hiding from the world, will make a nuclear bomb, then Iran too did maybe. And due to this, Israel's constantly attacks on the nuclear facilities of Iran. In the very first day when Israel attacks on Iran, on the 12th of June, uh, he targets the biggest nuclear facility, one of the biggest nuclear facilities of Iran, Natanz facility. So there will be a global, now it is the 8th day of Iran-Israel war. So let's look what happened. So now let's come on to the fifth point, which is economic sovereignty. Iran relies on local production and energy sovereignty, building its economy from within and defending its currency. And sixth is military independence, missiles, drones, as we in the recent conflict on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. Iran have whatsoever attacked on Israel is completely based on the indigenously made drones, whether it is kamikaze drones or Shahid 136 or ARS-2. All these were indigenously made in Iran. There were no any help from any foreign countries, neither of the West nor any of the powers like which Iran claims, or which is undoubtedly a good partner of Iran, which is Russia, China. One of the most important point, which says that sanctions didn't break Iran. Decades of pressure, sanctions that were supposed to crush Iran, but Iran didn't need. Instead, it exposes the myths of Western economic and warfare power. It shows that after more than a decades of sanctions, on heavy sanctions on Iran from both USA and West. When I say West, it means European Union. So after that, Iran didn't kneel down. And at the time of revolution in 1979, which came to the current Iranian regime in that time in power, and which is still going on, said that we are Iranians. We only bow down before Allah or nobody else in the world. And Iran is now, and it is setting an example that Iran is more than a country, and it is a rebellion against a unipolar world, of which China also against the Western influence. Russia has always been an against of Western influence on the entire world. So let's look what have happened, and this video is quite long, 13 minutes as I can see now, but this is one of the informative video that I have made with a long time. I hope that you may watch. I know that there will be no views, but why I'm doing this is because this is completely benefiting me. I didn't have any what I say. I didn't have any worry that people are watching my videos or not, because what my intention is, what my whole intention, or my entire intention is to do is completing. It is already done doing. So I don't care. Thank you very much.